audiences. Welcome to the Sunday edition of Consciously Positive. It's been last 5 years since we have started, so it's been a lovely journey, and I'm really happy that I'm a part of this journey. Okay, so now today's topic that we're going to talk about is a very interesting topic, very close to my heart, which is stories we create. Now, the real topic name should be stories we tell ourselves to create our lives. So whosoever is live on Zoom, I would be happy if you can turn on your video if it is possible, if you are not doing anything else. So, but because when you are on video, I can see that yes, you are somebody who is interested in understanding what this Sunday edition is going to bring you on for. Uh, if it is difficult, then it's fine. Now, let's understand the topic, and then we will talk about various dimensions of the whole topic. And my name is Vinay, and I am a business coach and also a life coach. And I have been, coaching several executives in my life, several business executives in my life, where I happen to help them understand their business first and then make them scale up and grow and profitable. And that's how I work with them. Uh, these talks are something which is very close to my heart. That's why I come here often and talk about it. Now, let's understand about stories we tell ourselves on a daily basis. Now, we'll start with a story, with a narrative, with something which we have seen. This is a story of a movie. I mean, this is a movie which we have seen in our lives. The movie name is Chak De India. Now, what has happened to the main character of that movie, and what was happening to that fellow who was a wonderful player once, but because of one match, because of one event, he was termed as a traitor. That yes, you have been a traitor, and you are somebody who has played with our emotions, and you have sold our nation, and that's why you deliberately are the one who you're the deliberate one who has make the match lost for us. He lived his life as a traitor, not as a traitor. He lived his life as a story of who he was not. But one even changed his life. But what was happening? His whole house was being written as somebody who was a traitor. But he never ran away from the situation. He actually built many years to change the narrative, and he actually emerged as someone after certain years, that somebody, and I'm going to coach the young women's team in the hockey, and in hockey, and that's how I'm going to change the whole narrative of who I have been talked about. And you all know what happened in the movie, and how he changed the whole narrative, and how he was respected after he won the gold medal in the World Cup championship. Now, what has happened in the whole movie? There was a change of narrative. There was a change of narrative where this whole character was being blamed for in the earlier situation. But what has happened, when he changed the narrative, the whole situation went in his favor, and he was being applauded and lauded. Now, this was just a movie. I'm inviting you to check out your own life. What are the narratives that we are building within our own self? What are the beliefs that we carry within our own self? And what is the narrative that we take it from people? When people tell us something that this is who you are, then how are we playing that narrative? And event has happened, even happens, and then we build that narrative for ourselves, and then that's how we build our own life. Now, the story that we tell ourselves actually creates ourselves. In one family, in one house, there are there are similar story that has happened for one character, for one son and one daughter. But the way both of them take that event, let's say that there's a difficult event happen in the family. Okay, someone leaves the mother earth from the family, and then one person went into deep depression, but the other person took that event on the positive stride and took that event to the next level and take that event to create its own story. Now, I'm not here to motivate you. I'm not here to tell you that, oh, just change your beliefs and change your life. You can do something better in your life. But all I'm talking about, what has happened in the whole, what happens in the whole scheme of things in our lives whenever something happens in our lives. What are the stories that we create? What are the stories that we tell ourselves which creates our life? Now consider a pyramid. Consider a pyramid. Just imagine a pyramid in visually in your mind. On the top of the pyramid, you see that there are results. On top of the pyramid, there are results, and the next part of the pyramid is when you just divide the pyramid in four parts. Okay, so on top of the first part, you see the results. The second part of the pyramid is actions. Now, most of the time, when we are living our life, we think that whatever the actions that we take, we get results. And when results are not happening, we get give have more actions on that particular area, in that particular area. Let's say मुझे जिंदगी में बिजनेस में रिजल्ट्स नहीं आ रहे हैं और मुझे मेरे को प्रॉफिट्स नहीं आ रहे हैं, पीपल आर नॉट टेकिंग ओनरशिप एंड मेरे को प्रॉफिट्स नहीं आ रहे हैं और एंड so I make more effort in telling them to take ownership, in telling my team to take ownership, in telling in working hard, and ensuring the problems are being solved. So more actions in that business, then you expect different results. But now the actions के नीचे क्या हो रहा है? The actions के नीचे there are two other pointers. One is belief, and the fourth is experiences. Now, when you say one is belief, say four is experiences, the fourth one actually gives us beliefs. हमारे को जो experiences हो रहे हैं, हम उसके basis पे beliefs बनाते हैं. और उसके when we have beliefs, more we have experiences. So let's say a business owner is okay, so let me just forget about business owner. Let's talk about the general life. Okay, so let's say a relationship between a husband and a wife. Okay, so what's happening in this relationship between husband and a wife when wife keeps on nagging on a particular aspect? Okay, and then husband starts thinking, oh, इसकी तो आदत है ऐसे बात करने के लिए, इसको तो ऐसे ही बात करनी है. So what happens? Either he will fight with the situation, or he will take a flight from the situation. Okay, but what happens in that whole thing, in the whole gamut of things? Belief kya bana diya? My wife is a nagger. She consistently nags on situations. And based on that belief, उसका लेंस क्या होगा कि यार ये तो nag ही करती रहती है, इसको तो consistently nag करना होता है. So that's how he starts thinking. And when the situation comes, when the wife comes up and she is not even nagging, she's just talking about, she's just speaking her heart out. She's just speaking her worries, speaking about her worries. तो husband का क्या belief होता है? अरे ये तो नाग ही कर रही है मेरे को. Okay, and that's how the husband create that story, because the story comes from that belief, and belief comes from the experience, because experiences comes from the past experiences, and more experiences you have, more stronger the belief you can have. Okay, and the more stronger the belief you can have, more, and that's how the top two parts of the part, which is called results, actions and results. You act on a particular situation, and the results is that, there is a disharmony, because you will check out that belief. Okay, my wife is consistently nagging, and I have to really control that nagging. I have to stop her nagging so that we can move forward in life. But that's not been happening, because the belief one carries when, that's the story that we tell ourselves, the story that we create ourselves in our life. That's how we are creating the whole paradigm. Now, consider in another situation where an event happens, a wife in a relationship, a spouse in a relationship is saying something. An event has happened, is saying something. She's just talking about her heart out. She is just speaking her heart out. Now, the husband in this case choose to listen to her instead of blaming her that she's nagging, she's unnecessarily crying, she's creating a drama. Instead of that, from that belief, what the husband is now doing is, she is just listening to the pain that she is having. That's why she's saying all these things. Now, what's happening in this case? What story husband is creating in his mind? Not the story of she is a drama person, she's a drama queen, or she is someone who is a nagger. But deep down, I'm listening to the unsaid of my wife, that she is hurt on a situation, and she is hurt, and that is why she is speaking her heart out. Now there are various schools of thoughts which says that you should not give advice to your wife whenever she is saying something. Okay. Now, because of that school of thought, uh, the husband mistake that husband does is, he just hears. He is not listening. He just hears. वो सुनता है लेकिन वो listen नहीं करता. But here, the story that husband creates is, okay, she is in pain. She is not someone who's happy right now. And more he listens to the unsaid of what she has to say, but she is saying something else because of her situation. The compassionate feeling that he will have for her grows up. Now, same situation, husband is moving away. And same situation, husband is feeling compassion for her. Now you have to decide what kind of relationship in both the situations will come up for husband and wife. Now that's what stories create. An event happens, and then story that we build, the stories that we create, the belief that we have about certain things. Now, when a husband has compassion for his wife, so consider what is the new belief that the husband is carrying now. What is the new belief? That my wife is not an nagger. My wife is a wonderful, perfect human being who has a right to get upset, who has got right to be worried, who has got right to be fearful. And I have to give her full right. And not just hearing, the husband in this case is listening deeply. Now, check out in your own life, whenever an event happens, whenever a situation happens, whenever a loss happens in business, whenever your maid says something to you, or whenever when you go to the outside world, you see people are just behaving in a manner that you don't want them to behave. तो आपका वहां पे स्टोरी क्या बिल्ड होता है? what event happens, then what is the story that we build? Consider a situation where जहाँ पे हमें जहाँ पे हमें when we have some illness, and what is the story that we create, or what is the story that we tell ourselves कि अब तो मैं बीमार हो गया, and now how I am going to live the next 7 days. Now, more we talk about illness, more we are away from wellness. But more we speak about wellness, more we are moving towards wellness all the time. So wherever we focus, we get results. That's the law of focus in power of thoughts. Now, the situation that I'm talking about is the stories that we create every day and every moment of our lives. The story that we tell ourselves, that we create our lives from. Now, see another story. There's another story from a movie called Three Idiots. Now, you all know about the movie. What was the narrative that Amir Khan's character in Chodas was having about the education system? And what was the narrative that everyone else was having about the education system? And what was the narrative of people who were committing suicides from these, and that was backed by the system of education? Now, everyone had similar situation, but the characters of the movie took every situation differently. When Chodas Chanchur, who was the character of Amir Khan, who played that character, took the situation in a different way. He said, focus on capabilities. काबिलियत पे focus करो, success will come running to you. But what was happening to the other two characters at the beginning? Of course, they changed their narrative and then they changed their own life. Okay, the narrative that they were having, one of the character was having a lot of fear and insecurity, and third character was again was worried about what people are going to say about his family. Okay, I've gotten myself, admission into one of the very, very, very good college. So that was the pressure that both of the other characters were facing. Now, in the whole gamut of things, it was the narrative that changed the life of these three characters and not the other people. Okay, we haven't seen in the movie के बाकियों का character का बाकी का narrative change होने से क्या फर्क पड़ा. लेकिन we all know that for same event, for same events, one person took the lead and changed the narrative of the person who created that narrative about the education system, right? The professor. Professor का narrative तक ही change हो गया. Yes, this is the person who has to be acknowledged and applauded for, right? So now, what are the stories that we are telling ourselves in our situation? Whenever we are stuck, are we telling to ourselves, okay, we are stuck, or we are telling we are work in progress? And whenever we are facing a situation where we are we are actually, having some kind of a relationship problem, some kind of money problem, or anything, or a situation where we don't know where to go. We feel directionless. Are we saying to ourselves we are directionless or facing losses, or we are saying we are moving towards evolvement? We are learning to go towards a different level. So, what is the story that we are consistently telling ourselves in a day-to-day life? Now, take a moment and talk about your own life and see about your own life. If you want to chat on in the chat box, just write a message in the chat box. And this is the story that I have been telling to my own self about my health, about my wealth, about my career, about my relationships, about my spiritual self. about my social self, about my networking. What is the story that I'm consistently telling my own self? And what is the life that I am creating? Okay. I know you are all right now on my Zoom screen as a black character. I'm not saying a black character, but because you are not on video, I can see only black names over here. But if you would like to do this little practice, then I can personally coach you right now and talk about what is the story that you can recreate in your own life. Okay, put it in the chat box. Just see your life, see for yourself कि कौन सी story आप consistently अपने आप को बता रहे हो. All right. Now, right now, when I'm speaking on the consciously positive platform, when I see a lot of people are not disciplined, a lot of organizations not actually fail because of lack of discipline. I can see one consciously positive platform which is consistently running each and every day, despite of anything, the last 5 years, and it's a commendable thing. Okay, because they are telling a story to themselves. They're telling the story to themselves. This is something that we got to do every day so that a discipline is created. And now you wonder, so many trainers and coaches come and speak on this platform and they're growing. That is the core thing that this consciously positive platform, Maven Magic, is creating. And I really salute, the founder of Maven Magic over here for creating this whole discipline, because this is a story that this is a narrative that she is telling to herself, and this is narrative that she is actually creating to a whole ecosystem and inspiring other people to really speak on this platform. So, what is the story that you have been telling, which is number one, disempowering, number two, empowering, and number three, powerful? Okay, powerful and empowering is the same actually, right? So, there are two stories that you tell to yourself. One is this empowering story, second is the empowering story. Put it in the chat box, or you can unmute yourself and speak about what is the story that you are consistently telling yourself. Take a moment and just speak out. Unmute yourself or put it in the chat box, and we are good to go to the next level. I'm waiting for you to unmute yourself and speak about your story.
My story, Vinay.
Yes, tell me.
What can I say? Because consciously positive. I first started with Nupur yourself and being the seed. You guys have bloomed me into a flower.
Wonderful.
That's what that's what um, that's what consciously positive does for me and all the other trainers. Um,
Yes,
so now I have overcame my fear,
wonderful,
and I have produced an ebook, and
wonderful.
I'm slowly managing my aches and pains here and there, but I'm a laughing soul.
Good. So this is a story that you have told yourself that despite of the limitations that I have, I choose to write my own story, which is true to my own self. And that's why you have written a book also. That's why you're always laughing. That's why you are always thanking. That's why you're always in gratitude for whatever reasons, whatever things come up for you, you are in gratitude. So
Yeah, I'm always.
thank you for who you are, and thank you for creating a story, or thank you for telling that story, that this is how consciously positive uh, platform is giving inspiration to me. Okay, but there are a lot of people who have come and go, have come and go in this whole platform. They might have different stories, right?
Yeah.
They might have different stories too. tell to themselves, and the way they tell their story, different story that they talk about themselves, talk about themselves. This is how they create their own life, right? Thank you for saying that. Thank you so much. Anybody else would like to talk about your story, or that you will tell about your story? You will tell about what stories that you have been saying to yourself, and what story that you have been telling to yourself, and what are you creating out of that? Anybody else? Meena, Samina, Shabana? Vishnu want to watch close then, today or what? Yeah, Mr. Prem, you want to say something?
Yeah,
Yeah, please go
I
ahead.
shifted my position into a more conducive environment.
Yes. Please go ahead.
I came in late just now, but what resonated with me was what do we say to yourself? I constantly say a lot of things to myself. My self-talk. My self-talk is sometimes borders on like people say why, I'll ask why not.
Ah, yeah,
This cannot be done. Why? What are the facts that support that this cannot be done?
yes,
Why not let's say no time. I have no time. Okay. Why not I leverage the time?
yes,
Of course, everybody has 24 hours. Maybe I'm not using my time leveraging properly. What can I
yes,
learn?
yes,
So my self-talk is always about self-criticism. I'm not
yes,
too harsh, but at the
yeah,
same time, I'm not complacent. I enjoy life. I take my glass of red wine once in a blue moon, but at the same time, I enjoy life. I feel whatever it is, life is meant to be enjoyed, meant to be happy.
yep,
You
yep,
know,
yep, yep.
so I feel joyful that I'm 67 now. So
Wonderful.
every day I wake up, I say, "Thank you, God, one more day." Wow, because
Oh.
that doesn't bother me. Not having lived, that bothers me.
I got it. I got it. Point. Now you can see, Prem, more you are telling the story to yourself, more you have similar kind of experiences around you. And more the experiences are there around you, more you have actions around that experiences. And that's how we build the belief. Similarly, when you're just talking about why not, that is a belief that you have built up over years. Okay. That's a belief that you are carrying right now. Right. So now, the other thing is, because you have been telling this story to yourself consistently, time and again, that becomes a part of you, and you have created that habit for yourself, getting up, waking up every morning with full enthusiasm and full empowerment, self empowerment, and that's how you're living your life. Now, even if something bad happens, even if something not bad, like something different happens from your expectation, you have gotten the whole mechanism of turning the table around by telling a story. This is going to help me. Okay. So that's the whole game. Now, when you move out of the session, okay, for a lot of people who are listening online and listening live, when you move out of the session, just take that conversation in your head. And the conversation is, what is the story I'm consistently telling and recreating for my own life? What is the story that I'm telling you? Because story तो चल ही रही है ना हमारी जिंदगी में. तो मेरी मेरी स्टोरी क्या है, मैं क्या क्या स्टोरी क्रिएट करना है? You're not only the actor of the story, but you're also the producer and the director of your own story. So which kind of movie that you want to, well, create? Thank you so much, Prem. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time and coming on video. Anybody else? Thank you, Prem. Thank you, everyone. For Samina, you want to share something? Meena, you want to share something? Else we can move to the next part. Anybody want to share something? Shabana, you want to say something?
Yeah. Sorry, I've got some cold and cough, so that's why I was not speaking.
Oh,
So, but I think sometimes what I tell myself is there is too much. But what I got from what Prem ji was sharing is why not? Like we can do too much as well.
yes,
So
yes,
thank you for creating.
yes. Now, the other part of what can stop us to build an empowering story. I'm going to talk about next 5 to 10 minutes. What is something which is consistently stopping us to recreate our own story, right? Now, our mind will consistently say, क्या बात कर रहे हो यार, मेरी रियलिटी को तो चेक करो, मेरी फीलिंग्स को तो चेक करो, मेरे इमोशंस को तो चेक करो, और मेरे साथ क्या हो रहा है वो तो देखो, तब मुझे बताओ कि भाई स्टोरी कौन सी मैं क्रिएट कर सकता हूँ, ये क्रिएट कर सकता हूँ. नाउ व्हाई द स्टोरीज आर नॉट रिक्रिएटेड? What is the obstacle of not recreating an empowering story is something that I'm going to talk about, because there is so much already in the background, so much already in the background that we can, whatever we write, whatever we tell, gets somewhere lost there. Imagine there is a whiteboard and there are multiple things which are written in the whiteboard, so many things written in the whiteboard, and you have not cleaned the whiteboard. So whatever you will write, will that whiteboard visible? आपने उस white board में बहुत सारी नेगेटिव न्यूज आ रही है, ट्रम्प के बारे में आ रहा है, न्यूज आ रहा है, वॉर के बारे में आ रहा है, सब कुछ आ रहा है, और वहां पर आपने उस व्हाइट बोर्ड पे लिखा पीस एंड हार्मनी, बट इतना कुछ पहले लिखा हुआ है. What can you write? So whatever is being written on that whiteboard is not visible at all. So, the first and foremost thing, if you want to tell a different story to your own self, the first step is to be aware. What is the current story that I am telling to myself about various incidents of my life? What is the first story that I've been telling myself? Okay, fine. That is the first, is asking yourself. That is the first thing. Asking yourself, what is the story that I've been telling you myself consistently? The second thing is to not asking, first of all, is being aware of the story. Second is asking yourself, is this the story that I'm going to make myself into in for the rest of my life? मान लीजिए there is some illness that has cropped onto you. मान लीजिए there is a loss that has happened to you. मान लीजिए there are so many traumatic incidents that has happened to you in the past life, in your life, right? Now we also talked about past life, because in consciously positive we also have talked about past life regression. Now what happens in the past life regression is a similar thing. The past life regression therapist takes you to that conversation that you have because of past life experiences that you have. I'm not going to talk about the yes or no of what actually happens in that past life regression. But what the therapist does is, therapist actually recreates a new story. But the first part is the old story is getting into awareness. So we cannot just start building the new story until the old story is completely rubbed off. So first is awareness. Second, asking yourself, do I want to remain in that story? Third is accepting, okay, fine, I got that story, but do I want to remain in that story? The fourth is affirming a new story. There are 4 A's that you're going to talk about. Affirming a new story. We write a new story. That's the fourth part. So we cannot just keep on rubbing the old things. Okay. it's a Diwali festival right now. So क्या दिवाली फेस्टिवल पे आप क्या करते हैं? What happens? Do you keep the new things even if the house is dirty, or you first clean the house and then put the new things around them? You first clean the house and then put the new things there. The first thing is being aware. Second is accepting. Okay, fine. I gotten this. That's okay to have those experiences in my life. It's okay and fine to have those experiences in my life. The third is asking the question: do I want to remain in this conversation? And when whatever the answer is, of course, 100% आंसर क्या आएगा कि यार मुझे इस disempowering story में नहीं रहना है. Yeah, if the story is empowering, the answer is yes, I want to remain in the story. For example, what Prem has just mentioned about a new story, a new narrative, which is why not? I want to remain in the story. So, इनके केस में क्या करना है उनको उसको affirm करना है, strong करना है. But most of the time, when you have disempowering story which runs in our head, so after being aware, after accepting it, and after allowing these things to happen, and asking the question is whether I want to remain in that story. So then the answer is no. Then create a new story, affirm a new story. The 4 A's that you always remember, right? So that's the part that I'm going to talk about. That that's the part that I have just talked about. Okay, I'm not going to talk about because we have only 5 minutes or 7 minutes to go. Now, what happens in my coaching conversations? I'm going to just share about my experiences as a coach, one-on-one coaching, whenever I do coaching one-on-one. So, lot many times my client want to go back to a self-pity story where the client would like to hold on to that emotion. यार ये मेरे को प्रॉब्लम हुई है, तुम मेरी प्रॉब्लम को समझ क्यों नहीं रहे हो? Why don't you understanding my why can't you understand me that this is the problem I'm facing? So, what I do in my coaching, I first patiently listen to the person, listen more deeply, so that the person has that space of expressing and allowing. Okay, and when the person is aware of that whole situation, उससे पहले तो awareness में भी नहीं था ना वो story उनके पास, what story that he was telling to herself consistently, that I want to remain in self pity. But when I listen to my client deeply and asking him right kind of questions, that do you want to remain in that story? Then the trigger comes up. No, I don't want to remain in the story, and then a new story gets created. So these 4 steps are extremely important. Okay. Otherwise, this is just a knowledge for you. This is just a knowledge for you. Yes, this is the story that we are telling to ourselves, and this is the story that you want to tell ourselves. ये तो सिर्फ एक knowledge आ जाएगा, right? What happened to ईशान अवस्थी in movie तारे ज़मीन पर, right? Everybody was telling him change your story, अच्छे से पढ़ाई करो, अच्छे से पढ़ाई करो, अच्छे से पढ़ाई, पर उसको कुछ समझ नहीं आ रहा था क्योंकि उसके पास पास्ट में बैगेज था. There was a baggage that he was carrying about his life, that and all the teachers were telling him negatively about his baggages. But there was one coach who came to his life. He understood Avshan Avasthi's situation, and he was gotten aware, and he got an elixir. Ishan got an elixir of being accepted. Okay, and yes, he is accepted, and when he's accepted, then the whole situation changed for him. So the 4 steps are very important. One is being aware. You can probably start today also. दिवाली में हम बहुत पुरानी चीजें घर से बाहर निकालते, तो आप भी अपनी पुरानी स्टोरीज को फेंक सकते हैं. First step is to just start writing it down, being aware of what are the disempowering stories that you're telling yourself. Second is allowing and accepting. Okay, yes, okay, fine. It's okay to have those experiences. Third is asking the question, do I want to remain in the story? and the fourth is affirming it. So with this note, I want to end this session, and I give you my warm wishes to Diwali, number one. Second is, in this Diwali festival, I ask you to change the whole story, not only for your own self, but for the word that you're living, responding to the word that you're living. अपनी सिर्फ अपनी स्टोरीज से चेंज मत करो, अपने आसपास के लोगों की स्टोरीज भी चेंज करने में उनकी हेल्प करो. When you change the story about those people around you, and the magic is going to happen. जैसे आप अपने environment के लिए story change करते हो, the example that I gave to you about a husband and wife, when they started listening to her deeply, he got more compassionate about her, and the wife got transformed. So similarly, if you want a transformation outside, give an opportunity to yourself to change the story around you, right? So that's going to be the real festival, a
Yeah.
celebration,
Yeah.
right?
Vinay, would you like to give some example of the empowering stories? Means the statement, how people can frame it.
Okay.
It's easier for them.
Yes. So let's say when you see can you give me an example of a disempowering story that you have for people around? Can you give me anything about?
Yeah. So
Okay.
sometimes we say there is too much things too many things to manage or do. So that is can be at times disempowering.
Correct.
Though at times it is like, yeah, it inspires you to manage it well. So
Yes.
yeah.
So the reality is, the fact of the matter is, yes, there are too many things to manage. Too many things. The first, being aware of the situation. Yes, there's actually there are too many things to manage. And then accepting it. Okay, fine. Yes, there are many things to manage. I understand that there are many things to manage. There are a lot of things that have come up for me, and that is disturbing me, that is stressful for me, that's creating stress for me. And then asking the question, do I want to remain in this situation that I'm going to be stressful? The answer is going to be definitely no. And then the new story is going to happen. Okay, the new story is, I am work in progress. That's the first story that you could tell yourself. I'm work in progress. I'm learning how to manage. I am um, I'm being aware of the situation. I'm learning new skills how to manage, and then a new thought is going to come up for you after that story, that I'm learning how to manage. I'm evolving with the situation. I'm growing with the situation. Instead of telling this story again and again, there's too much things to manage. The story that you can change it. I'm learning and evolving how to move ahead in my life, and suddenly eureka is going to happen, and you get a lot of new ideas that are going to open up for you. That's how your mind is going to work. जैसी पुरानी सिचुएशन खत्म होती है तो नया आइडिया आएगा. ओके फाइन, लेट मी डेलीगेट अ फ्यू टास्क हियर, let me break down the tasks here, let me calendar the task here, let me really understand, is it really too many things to manage? Is it really, or it is just in my head? Have I really written those tasks, that lot of things that I have to manage, or there there is any other reality there? So the moment you tell a new story to yourself, the, yes, I am learning and evolving, but उससे पहले क्या किया, I एक्सेप्ट करना शबाना. क्योंकि हम एक्सेप्ट ही नहीं करते, हमें हम इतना रेजिस्ट करते हैं अपने माइंड में कि यार इतना कुछ है, इतना कुछ स्ट्रेस है, इतना ओवरवेलम है, कैसे जिंदगी को जिया. और फिर हम लोग क्या करते हैं, उसके ऊपर ऊपर उसको छोड़ते हैं और आगे बढ़ते हैं. But the time is to sit with yourself with the story. Okay, fine. There are too many things to manage. Okay, fine. That's go. Okay, that's okay. Allowing itself. Okay, fine. So much overwhelm. Okay, fine. So many stress. Oh, okay, fine. Now, do I want to remain in this situation? The answer is no. Okay. And then again, you're going to come back. Okay, इतना stress. फिर इसको accept करो. फिर third is, asking yourself, do I want to remain in this situation? The answer is no. It's a new story they're going to tell. Okay, I'm learning and evolving from this situation. Because there is so much of overwhelm, because there are so many things to manage, I have got a new opportunity to upskill myself of managing multiple things, which is there on my head. And the moment you tell this story, new ideas starts coming up, and you will find new idea, new ways to do it. And amazingly, Shabana, you will find a lot of support from somewhere. कहीं ना कहीं से support आ जाएगा आपके पास. Okay, Shabana, I let me help you here. Let
Yeah.
me help you. So you have to try to know it. But remember the 4 steps, 4 A's.
Awesome. Thank you.
I hope I could help you in some way.
Yes, you did.
Great, great. Thank you so much, everyone. Anybody else has to say something before we wind up?
Hmm.
Anybody else want to share something? The closing statements, the closing remarks about the 4A philosophy, about the stories. Anything want to share?
Yeah. I think Premji.
Yeah, I'm so relieved that even though I was late, delayed in coming in, but I'm so glad I came in. It put a lot of things straight in my head. Yeah.
Great,
Thank you very much.
great. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for being a part of this Sunday morning session and wishing once again a very, very happy Diwali to everyone. Bye bye.
Yeah, thank you